Hello everyone and welcome to English and Medical Terminology course for the Faculty of Medicine. It's me, Dr. Amira Saad. I'll be with you for this course for this term. The first part in the course will be dedicated to the medical terminology, and our first lecture will be on how the medical term is made up. So we will start with an introduction to medical terminology. Our first lecture is an introduction to medical terminology. In this part, we'll get to know how the medical term is made up. What are the components of the medical term? The parts of a medical term are prefix, suffix, root, and linking vowel. These are the possible components of a medical term. Possible components of a medical term. مكونات components محتملة للمصطلح الطبي. By the word possible, I mean you do not necessarily find all of them in one word. You can have some of them, some other parts may not exist in the one medical term. So these are the parts of a medical term, and they can exist in the ordinary English word too. أول 3 components, prefix, suffix, root, can also exist in the English sentence as the English word, as a word, not only the medical term, not only المصطلح الطبي. They can exist in the normal English word, but it is not a medical term. Now let's get to know the function and the definition of each part of them. The first part is called prefix. What is a prefix? A prefix is a syllable that is added at the beginning of the term to mean something in particular. Okay, so it is a part of a word. It's not a word. Okay, a prefix is a part of a word that is added at the beginning of the term to mean something in particular. It usually gives the same meaning. دايما بتدي نفس المعنى, and it is meaningless on its own. In most of the cases هي ملهاش معنى لوحدها. In most of the cases لوحدها ملهاش معنى, but it only gives meaning when added to another word. So it's not a word, it's a part of a word that is added, usually added at the beginning of the term to mean something in particular. Okay, زي ايه؟ زي كل الكلمات اللي حضرتك تعرفها في اللغة الإنجليزية عادي, اللي بتبدأ بمقطع كده بين فيها أو بتبدأ بجزء بيبقى معناه غير, زي مثلا قانوني وغير قانوني. This word, the word legal, when I add IL at the beginning of this word, it gives the negative على طول. legal is the word, and when we add IL it is illegal. So illegal is a word that has a prefix, and this prefix means not. دايما معناه كده. كمان زي ايه؟ زي impolite. كمان it's another word that includes a prefix. The word polite when means مهذب. When we add im at the beginning of this term, of this word, it gives the opposite. Okay, again, like the word lock and unlock. And you already know many other words of the same type, and you already know in the English language many other prefixes. Do we have the same idea in the medical terms? Yes, we have many prefixes in the medical term. And we will get to know many others later. لكن as an example, we have the prefix anti. Many words change their meanings when we add to them the prefix anti. زي ايه؟ زي antibacterial, antiviral, antibiotic, antibody. All these are medical terms that include a prefix, and the prefix is anti. Now after knowing the first part اللي هو prefix, and after taking a medical example, that is ant, and it means against. We now are going to know about the second part, one of the parts of a medical term, and it is the suffix. Suffix is a syllable that is added at the end of the term. يبقى prefix كان عبارة عن مقطع، جزء من الكلمة that is added at the beginning of the term. هنا suffix is added at the end of the term. ونفس كل حاجة. It is meaningless on its own in most of the cases. In most of the cases, not in all the cases. And it gives a certain meaning. It usually has the same meaning. دايما هي ليها نفس المعنى. الsuffix دايما ليه نفس المعنى, and when it is added to another word, it changes the meaning of this word. زي ايه؟ برضو زي الحاجات الكتير اللي حضرتك عارفها في اللغة عادي. يعني كلمة able لما بنزودها على أي كلمة بيبقى معناها ايه؟ كلمة less أو الجزء اللي اسمه less. زي ايه؟ زي مثلا لما نقول useless. use يعني فايدة. use بالزي ساوند يعني يستخدم, لكن use بالص sound it's a noun and it means فايدة. فما أقول useless يعني عديم الفايدة. So the suffix هنا is added to mean without. The suffix here when added it meant without. طيب, do we have this in the medical term? Yes, we have suffixes in the medical term, and an example of this is the syllable أو the suffix اللي اسمه itis. Itis is one of the very famous suffixes because itis, it means inflammation, and we have many other words طبعا, and we have many other suffixes that we are going to know later. لكن itis is one of the most famous. بتسمعوا أكيد عن hepatitis, بتسمعوا عن مثلا colitis اللي هو التهاب القولون. So itis is a suffix that means inflammation, التهاب. Dermat, the example that you have in front of you now is dermatitis. Derm or dermat, it means skin. Derm or dermat دي دايما حاجة معناها في medical term skin. Okay, so when we add to derm or dermatitis, this means inflammation in the skin. Okay, another very famous suffix is ology and ologist, and of course you know that. إنه مثلا when we say psych it means نفس. So when we add ology to the word psych, it means the science concerned with studying the diseases and the disorders of the psyche, of the self. Okay, and we say also ology هنا is a suffix that means science. كمان ologist, the one who studies, the one who is specialized in, a scientist in كذا. كمان this is another suffix. لما أقول psychologist, okay, ologist here is another suffix. So medically speaking, we have many famous suffixes, among which is itis, ology, ologist, and we of course are going to have many other examples later. That's all for today. Next time I'll be giving you some medical terms to analyze according to what you have already taken in this lecture. That's all for today. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.